My name is Rene Ruiz, and I'm a fashion designer. I have been in business in Coral Gables for almost 25 years now. I chose Coral Gables as my base as a young designer, as a young entrepreneur. And Coral Gables has become not just my place of business and work, but also my home. This is where I live. This is where I relax. This is where I entertain, and this is where I create. The clothing business is going really well. We are doing better than we did last year. We are growing. We continue to hire people and train them, and we are very happy also that we have been able to open a new location and a new flagship store in the village of Mary Park, which is one of the, a big cornerstone for our company as a business. Well, what's driving the business, the growth in the business, is that we've been able to capture that market, and it's been it's just like more people are finding out about the brand, the Rene Ruiz brand. Also, our exposure in major department stores like Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue, and the growth that we've been experiencing for the last 7 years about selling just not in South Florida, but we sell internationally and nationally. We sell in New York, New Jersey, the Northeast, in Texas, and even Birmingham, Alabama. We have been able to span the name and our product. Well, we specialize in, and I hate to say this because we are not just that, but it's the mainstay of our business. I train in couture, and I interned in Italy for a year with very talented people, and my product is basically a beautifully made evening gown. Okay. The client that comes to us comes because they want quality, and they want fit, and they want originality. We do have a thriving made-to-measure business, custom, you say, but we also do mass production of our gowns, and we sell in department stores, and also we sell to stores all over the country and the world, and those are done by sizes. We do hundreds of them, or maybe 75 of a style, and people are able to buy Rene Ruiz in a store in Oklahoma. My client is a woman that is secure of herself. It's a woman that doesn't need to have a big logo in the back of her dress to know that she's well dressed and that she's wearing something that is well made, of quality. We are a small company, and the way that we have been able to grow is basically just in product alone. Our product has been the thriving force behind the growth of my business. Word of mouth has been an incredible help for us, and also we are very involved in our city with different charity groups. And just, I think also by giving back to the community and being involved in the community, that translate into more exposure to the name and the brand. We have dresses from anywhere from $700 all the way up to $8,000. We have different lines. We have the Rene Ruiz line, which is a bit pricier, which is the more intricate details and the embroideries and the crystals and, that woman that's looking for something special, more special. But we also have the line, the Rene Ruiz collection, which is the line that we sell in Neiman's and in Saks. They basically retails between $1,500 to $2,200. And that's what we've been experiencing a lot of our growth. I never really thought that I was going to be a fashion designer. In my mind, I thought I was going to be an architect. And I had a passion for architecture, because imagine being a Cuban boy growing up in Hialeah. It was not conversation that you would come to your, and sit at the dinner table with your aunt or your grandmother and tell them, hey, I'm going to be a fashion designer, because they were like, or a dancer, like, what are you talking about? Yeah. But I was always, especially growing up in Cuba among all that misery, one of my way of escaping like the reality of being in Cuba was through all movies. So I would just take my time, instead of going outside and playing, I would be watching all movies. And I remember one of the first memories of me being just totally taken back and like being really interested in the way that people were dressed was watching this movie from 1939. I think it was Camille with Greto Garbo. And to me, it was just fascinating after reading the book, in school reading the book, and then watching this movie and see how the designer, Adrian, it's a Hollywood designer from the 1930s and the 20s, was able to recreate this era of, romantic Paris at like in the late 1800s. Mm-hmm. So the way, she looked in that movie and the way everybody was put together and the way everything, it was really like a moment that totally, still, I see clear in my head that there's something there that I just don't know and I'm not exposed to it. Mm. So every time I would watch a movie, I know everybody would look for the stars and the director and things like that, but I will also look at the name of whoever designed the costumes and Edith Head and so many designers that were amazingly talented. Yeah. My inspiration comes basically from my client. I'm still in very close contact with the woman who's buying my product. Mm-hmm. I still I surround myself with a great group of individuals that help me create, mm-hmm. like the designer Louis that he he's helps with colors and trends and we have and the inspiration comes from really everywhere, but I get much of my inspiration from old movies and history. Yeah. It is just totally, I keep going back to the way things used to be made and trying to like incorporate them with new technology and new ways of reinventing the same women's body. Just by challenging myself how to drape a gown, how to come up with an interesting new way of using fabrics and things like that. But always going back, I see how I learned from how people used to craft a gown in the 1800s or in the 1920s, and just the architecture they used to be put in place and how different it is today. We used to have our own building here in Coral Gables, which we sold about a year and a half ago. And that was in preparation to where we are today, being in the village of Mary Park, where we have, where we are next to Neiman Marcus, Gucci, Nordstrom, stores of that caliber. And for us, that we are a local brand, like, we are like homemade. It's really exciting, because this is our next step in our plan of growing, not just to have this store, but to have other, Rene Ruiz locations in different, retail environments like this. We have, when we started growing much more and we started, wholesaling to all the specialty stores, we had to hire more people, more people that would know the trade, or at least they were willing or they had the talent to learn this trade. And we had to open a manufacturing plant. We had to open a factory in Hialeah, which used to have hundreds, probably 1,000 manufacturing plants back 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And
but it's not.
It's not any longer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the last 20 years, all those jobs had gone away overseas, China, Central America, and all those people, they lost their job. And not only they lost their job, they lost their trade and the capacity to make clothes. So now one of the things that I'm very proud of, that we are basically single-handedly bringing back manufacturing to Miami, because I think that we are in such a prime location to have a business that could actually thrive if the companies would take a chance, because people are definitely looking for this kind of jobs. We have people that knock on our doors every day, wanting just to work for free, just for the chance of learning how to sew, how to make a suit, how to make a sleeve, how to do this. But unfortunately, we cannot take them all because there's only so much resources and people that can train them. And it's an investment for us.
Do you train most of your workers, or do they come with skills?
We train most of our workers.
Okay.
We train most of our workers. We have been lucky enough that we have found some great people, great talent that we have been able to keep. But we do invest an incredible amount of energy and resources into training people how to do this kind of trade.